everyone. My name is Alex Gardner. I am the Chief Revenue Officer at Index Exchange. And today we are bringing you Innovators Unscripted, where we're speaking with the voices who are driving, influencing, and otherwise innovating around the ad tech ecosystem. And today I'm speaking with the Chief Marketing Officer of LG Ad Solutions, Tony Marlow. Tony, perhaps you'd quickly introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about LG Ads.
Well, firstly, hello, Alex. Thank you for having us. For those viewers of yours that don't know me, my name is Tony Marlow. I'm the CMO at LG Ads, as you mentioned. And anyone who's not familiar with our company, we have the footprint of about 200 million LG TVs worldwide, 45 million in the US, and we help put marketing messages on their ads. And so that's something that's really, really big right now. The connected television space is just blowing up.
Amazing. Well, thank you for joining us. I've got a series of questions here, Tony. If you're ready, let's dive in.
I'm not sure I'm ready, but let's see how we go.
First questions. As more consumers shift from traditional television to streaming, how are viewing and content discovery behaviors evolving?
This is a huge question. I'm going to rewind a little bit to answer this question. So there's this concept that we call the big shift. And if you cast your mind back to early 2020, the pandemic is hitting. Most countries are following stay-at-home guidance. We know people were staying at home. They started watching more television. They started streaming more. But what happened was back then, it was largely characterized by subscription streaming. What we've seen since then to now is this big shift towards ad-supported models of connected television. And it's interesting, actually, most consumers, certainly in the US, Canada, UK, Australia, most actually have a high level of favorability, 70% or above, for the ad-supported model. So in terms of that shift, it is the shift to streaming, firstly just adoption, and now the shift to ad-supported models.
Very much so, and we've both been beneficiaries of that transition, which is fantastic. There's growing interest in interactive and shoppable ad formats. How are you innovating beyond the typical 30-second slot to help marketers really move the needle?
Okay, like if we were having this conversation last year, in 2024, I would have said 2024 is the year of shoppable.
Yeah.
And in some ways that was true.
Yeah.
But in 2024, shoppable was kind of trapped within the QR code.
Right.
And I think what we're seeing now as we talk at the Cannes Lions in 2025, we're starting to see greater innovations creating more frictionless purchase. And what 2024 last year taught us was it's not really necessarily about the tech. It's about the consumer attitudes and willingness to make the purchase. So if you rewound 3-4 years ago, people weren't really willing to try and buy something on the TV. They weren't necessarily willing to merge that large screen experience to the screen in their hand. Now they're doing all of that. And I like to think of connected television as what we call performance storytelling medium, meaning that it's a full funnel medium. You can build your brand, but you can also convert as well. And I think that's one of the wonderful pieces about CTV.
I have yet to buy something off my TV. Have you tried it?
I was experimenting a little bit, not necessarily with our stuff, but with Amazon putting some of the football games on.
Yep.
You can drop things straight into your inbox. You can drop things straight into your cart. I thought it was really cool, yeah.
I love that. All right. With consumers' attention more fragmented than ever, how are you using AI and data to connect content, ads, and audiences and deliver an impactful streaming experience?
I love this question. So maybe I can quiz you on something just for a second.
Sure.
How long do you think it takes between turning your TV on and then ultimately landing on something to watch?
11 minutes.
You knew this. It's about 10 minutes.
I've heard you speak on this before.
But this 10 minutes is incredible. It's essentially, I guess there's one portion of this that you'll never get rid of, the debate that happens on the couch. I want to watch A, I would like to watch B. But then there's this other component where it's just I can't find the stuff that I would like to engage with. Yep. And what's really interesting about this moment in time, and then there is sort of two tales here. One tale is of discovery. How do we enhance the discovery experience for the content? For the non-content experiences, the cloud fitness, the cloud gaming, shoppable moments, how do you bubble that up? And I think the answer is pretty solidly artificial intelligence. Being able to use AI to bubble up those relevant pieces of information and do so at the glass level, meaning on the home screen and not trapped within given streaming apps. And so we're starting to see that. And I'd say the other tale is the endemic home screen advertising. You've got a captive audience, they're spending about 10 minutes just making a decision. they're also in a very shoppable mode for that moment. So they're either really willing to see ads about content, or they're really willing to see ads about making a purchase. And so that AI content discovery and AI for that advertising match is really big right now.
Yep. All right. Streaming TV is maturing quickly. What's one thing marketers need to understand to stay ahead?
Streaming TV is not your grandmother's TV. I think you kind of touched on it with the last question, but it's so much more than a 30-second spot. So yes, we have the 15s, we have the 30s, but you can do things. You can use triggers such as a weather trigger. Say you're a national retailer, you can use a weather trigger to make sure that the stock that you're highlighting is always relevant to the conditions at hand. Knowing the IP address of a television, raining outside, see raincoats. Maybe it's hot outside, t-shirt, shorts weather. And these types of things, and that's considered completely privacy safe. You don't need to know that much about an individual to know, okay, they might be interested in wet weather gear right now. And that's just a simple example. I like to use that one because it's so easy to wrap your arms around. But the technology that's available to make sure the right ad is reaching the right person at the right time.
Relevancy, individualized.
Exactly. It's higher than ever before, and it's really being unlocked. And the other thing I like to say about this topic is connected TV. It's the sight, sound, and motion that we always loved about television, but we've now added the addressability that we've come to need and love from digital channels.
And the marketers expect.
It is absolutely expected right now.
Collaboration is crucial to driving innovation in this industry. How does our partnership help you deliver enhanced value to both viewers and marketers?
It's interesting. I like that you're using the word collaboration, because there's no individual company that I think that's changing the game for everyone. It is between our companies, but between many companies. Agreed. It is a collaboration to try and create a better ecosystem. And so when we say better, I think we're creating great content experiences, other lean-in experiences on the biggest screen in the home, and we're creating great advertising experiences. Because if you're getting something for free, so for us that would be something like our fast service LG channels, 350 channels, the content's free, and it's free because it's ad supported. I think the least we can do is make sure those ads are relevant and make sure that they're impactful. And I think that's one thing that we collaborate very well on.
Agreed. With seemingly infinite content available to stream today, how do you think about your fast channels and the content experience you create for viewers?
This is interesting. I was talking about this in a meeting earlier today. I look at LG channels, and there are other fast channel services as well, and it's almost like curating the best of the best. And if you think about the major the major networks, they might be releasing like new content. Maybe it's a hit, maybe it's not. And I think one of the really interesting pieces about fast is it's aggregating both current but also historically really successful content. Whether you're talking about Suits, the Baywatch channel is one of the most popular channels on LG channels, actually fully remastered in 4K now, and it's reimagined. And I just like to think of it as a collection of best of the best. I was speaking in this meeting. I was speaking with someone, and he was telling me about his college-age son, who what was the show? His son had never seen Friends before, and he's starting to watch Friends now. And he's saying, "Look, for my son, Friends is first-run premium content." And I think they're the types of experiences you can expect out of Fast right now.
We just watched in my household with the children, Malcolm in the Middle for the first time in their experience. And we've been binging for the last several months, 8 seasons. It's a lot, but they've been loving it.